If you are struggling with growing your YouTube channel, I'm here to provide 5 tips I've learned through scouring YouTube for from the advanced YouTubers to courses I've been in, and we're going to help you get started launching your YouTube, getting more engagement, getting more subscribers, and helping you reach your first 1,000 subs. Let's just get right into the tips. There's 5 things I recommend when starting your YouTube channel that if you could master these quickly and efficiently, you will get started on exponentially growing your account. Those tips are mastering titles and thumbnails, mastering the hooks, increasing your video quality and presenting your ideas in an effective way, and then learning about calls to action to help grow your account. So starting off with the title and thumbnails, if you really think about it, the most way that you may have gotten to this channel or gotten to this video, or even when you're browsing other people's content, is you see the stuff on the side of YouTube and they have an effective title and maybe a thumbnail that draws you in. You have been exposed to this your entire life, from magazines to newspapers, and YouTube is no different in that form of media in which you need to captivate your audience quickly and effectively to get them to consume the data, the information that you want to provide. So what I recommend doing, this comes from a YouTuber with 2 million subs named Ollie, who is a doctor, has a great channel. I'll leave a link below to that. One of his recommendations from his templates on creating content is that you come up with at least 10 titles. Even for this video, here's a couple of things that I was trying out. 5 simple tips, 5 things every YouTuber should know. You want to kind of create it in a way that's clickbaity, but also humanized, so that when someone's reading it, they'll be like, okay, this is effectively what I'm going to get out of this channel. Now, something that he doesn't provide, but I use personally myself, is when I'm starting out, I actually like optimizing for YouTube SEO, and I have a great tool for doing that called Keywords Everywhere. If I turn this on, research the link, it actually tells you what people are searching for and what you can find online. So with that being said, you're getting 3,000 people searching for this a month. You can validate your content before even we're starting hitting the record. I think this is, even though this is just for starting your YouTube, if I was going back starting mine when I was growing my tech channel, this is probably one of the most fundamental things to understand this concept, is that you will only get exposure based on how people get viewed. And you can see here, even from this Google search, we have Ollie, the person I'm basing this content out of, producing, his thumbnail, his titles, stuff of that nature. So you want to start looking at things from that perspective of what are people searching for, and then get that data validation as well. So I come from a data analytics background, so this is kind of my forte and what I like presenting to not only clients, but implement myself as I'm growing on this YouTube channel journey. One of the next things you could do for titles and thumbnails is testing out split A/B testing. So one of the things you could do is download TubeBuddy. They have a feature in the legend that's about $40 a month that lets you do A/B testing. Ollie swears by this, other YouTubers swear by this, but basically in split A/B testing, you're able to get data on what thumbnail worked, what title works, and so you'll get not just what your research shows from Keywords Everywhere, but you'll also get real data on your own channel to show what's working. So could be worth it for those of you starting out. If you're just looking to really get serious about growing your YouTube channel, I recommend looking into your own data and implementing on the insights that you find. So of course, when getting into titles and thumbnails, what I haven't covered yet is the thumbnail aspect of it. One of the things that you could do is utilize Canva, which is probably the go-to thing you've seen in marketing in 2022. You'd see here some of the tests, and a lot of the stuff I've done on my tech channel is really just kind of implementing these simple thumbnails. One thing that also works is if you make this like glow effects, and there's a free one you can use. I'll leave a link below called Flaming Text. I use this to create the glow effect, which is right there in the link. And then from there, you kind of just edit the logo, put the text that you want, and it just appears there. You can get that into Canva. I'll be making more detailed content through various offerings on the YouTube channel. And if you guys like and subscribe and leave some comments, I'd be happy to answer your questions. Or you can check out the Discord channel, which is going to be combined with both this channel and my tech channel. So be on the lookout for that for growing your own channel. One of the main things after people click on the link is they're going to be introduced to you, your first 30 things that you say to them is very key, very important. So similar to kind of how a lure bait fish so one of the first things that people are going to notice is like the first 30 seconds, do they want to watch this video? But when they're first introduced to you and your content, they're thinking, well, what you always have to keep in mind, what is it for the viewer? What do they want? So you immediately have to showcase, what your video is about. It's probably the simplest hook you could do. So similar to, a fish is attracted to a lure because they want to eat. I mean, people want to feast on your content. So as you kind of develop your lore or your hook, most people they typically drop off after 10 to 20 seconds. So if you could just introduce, hey, who are you, what are you struggling with, and how can I help? That's pretty much the fundamental baseline of how you could master the hook. There are some tips that I suggest of different ways you could introduce the hook. Primarily, as long as you just get straight to the point and tell them, hey, I'm here to help you do XYZ, you'll be golden. But some things you could do is, ask a question. You could read for yourself going down the line. There's a lot of different ways that you could test yourself, but going into the data analytics aspect of it, look, everything here is recommended as a tip, as a guide, but until you discover your audience, you will not have my audience. There may be overlap if you decide to do exactly the same content I do, such as helping people grow YouTube or helping people, with digital nomad life, stuff of that nature. But this arc of this channel will be covering kind of my journey as I'm growing this particular account, and self-development, self-improvement, and some of that involves YouTube, how to kind of create this business stream for yourself. There's a lot of different ways. The basic one that I would just recommend all of these have to cover is that you're going to just be, once again, telling people what you are going to help them do. You don't even have to do your introduction. It does help to have, who you are, to build cadence or to build your value prop of why you should listen to me. But for the most part, if you just go right into how you help them, you will be golden. So one of the things I covered in my tech channel, but I'm going to bring up here, is that the simplest way to kind of increase that halo effect that you have on yourself, or kind of the aspects of why people should listen to you, is when they see the type of quality content that you have. A lot of it is based on the video that you have. So I'm just going to showcase really quickly the ways that I handle this, which is either having a DSLR, which you see here. You could use your iPhone camera to make content, and you could buy a webcam. So let's just get right into, I have a different OBS setup. I have two things set up right now, and I'm going to bring up my webcam so you can see here. So you have the DSLR, which is probably the best looking one here. If you're going to get a DSLR, just without you going to a different video, just buy a 50 millimeter and get an aperture, an f-stop of lower than 2.0. You'll get a good effect here. This is a $400 face cam from Elgato, and I mean, it looks decent enough, not as great as the A6000, and I'm blocking my own iPhone. Most of you guys have webcams. Most of you guys have, or most of you don't have webcams. You have like an iPhone or mobile device. So you can do this. That's the front facing. And then if we swap backwards, I think it's using the wrong zoom. Let me see if I could get a better zoom here. Yep. So there you go. These are the settings. Test for yourself. iPhone probably is the best over your natural webcam that you have. If you want to spend $400, you could get this EpoCam, and then that's the DSLR there back in the backdrop there. So really, guys, I would say decide for yourself. I have some content on how to make that on my Blend Logic tech channel, but for the most part, I mean, I think it is that small thing that helps, kind of what people are used to. People are used to seeing nowadays in 2022 YouTubers having a DSLR camera. So that's pretty much what I recommend for getting started. So I'm just going to cover two things on presenting your ideas. These are structures or formats that help me produce content, but these are recommended from people such as Gary Vee, the minimalist person, Ali. So I guess one of the reasons you want to do kind of this structure is most people with their attention span. If I go to my most popular recent channel on Blend Logic, people drop off. So if you could provide structure, you will be helping people become forward framed in what they expect to see. People always want to expect something. So if you have this listicle structure, this particular video said I'm going to give you 5 simple tips. That's what you're getting. I presented, the hook, the title, presenting ideas, and lastly is going to come CTA and then improving your video quality. But depending on how you do this, you either just talk about the structure or you have relevant supporting facts that could cover it. So, if I was doing a listicle, some of the hooks you might do for the same video is like, 5 things I wish I knew when starting my YouTube channel, or 5 things every beginner does that you want to avoid. So that's the negative frame. And then in the positive frame, like, hey, 5 simple tips, the 5 best tips for growing your channel, stuff of that nature. All this is what you should be working out, writing out when you're producing your hook. And then another way to do it is a simple triplet structure where you just have your main idea and then you just give 3 supporting facts. And for each supporting fact, you have 3 facts to support that fact. In my particular case I did here, it was a listicle with 5. But if I was doing like the top 3 things, I would say, get your thumbnails down, get your titles down, and get your hooks down. If you could get those 3 down, then you present 3 facts from each. So title, go read the newspaper and see what the headlines are and what the subheadlines are. Thumbnails, try out doing, 3 things for that. Try out A/B testing, try out using Canva, try out different types of photos to get that done. And then I think I said the last thing was the hook. So that's the first 30 seconds. As you're producing content, just practice different ways to do hooks. So that would be one tip. Again, everything comes back to split testing. There's different ways to do hooks, such as, B-roll footage, just straight up talking and presenting a question. And so all of that should be tested. That's kind of the idea of triplet structure, is you have everything presented to them and then you cover what you're going to talk about. The last advice I have for you, which is pretty much what every YouTuber should be doing, is telling people if you want to grow your channel and have it monetized, you can only get it monetized when you have 1,000 views or 1,000 subscribers. You got to ask people. For the most part, if this is the content you want, like how I'm doing it for the type of people I'm talking to, I would say, hey, if you're looking to grow your YouTube channel and want to see what someone's doing to do like tested facts, follow this channel. Like this, ask me questions, join our Discord. That would be kind of where I'm coming from. If I already had an established channel, a lot of it you get the subs because everyone else is subbing. But one of the biggest challenges I think that most people have when starting their YouTube is they believe that without followers, they're just not incentivized. So I'm just gonna showcase. I have 20 subs on this channel. I don't have another sub channel besides like Blend Logic, which is only 2,000. So I don't have much reach to just be like, hey, I'm making another channel. Go follow that. For the most part, you just gotta ask people. Say, hey, these are the tips I'm learning. If you like this kind of content or you want to see different types of content, let me know in the comments below. And just create that community aspect. So obviously people are watching a YouTube video with a static image, but when you make call to actions and then you respond to all of it on Studio, you'll be good to go. So just recapping all the tips I gave to you, get down with the titles and the thumbnails. You could use Canva and you could do split testing, use keywords everywhere to check that info. Number 2 was mastering some hooks. People's attention span only lasts 30 seconds. You can increase the video quality with what I showed you with the 3 different cameras, and then learn how to present your ideas, and finally ask people to follow you along on your journey. If you follow those things, you should be getting able to produce at least a video a week, and you should be able to kind of produce some following. I'd expect in 1 month you could probably get 100 subs. So we'll see if I'm able to do that myself. So this is Alan. I hope you guys are enjoying your YouTube channel journey, and follow me as I grow this channel to monetization. Thanks. Take care.